we're ready to pick up those wrap and turns. These wraps that I did, you can see that the wraps are from the front of the fabric. If I'm doing wrap and turns on the right side of the fabric, my wrap will be right before the gap. That's really important. Sometimes you don't have to use markers. I mean, if it's a dark yarn, I actually do use markers, but a lot of times if I can see my wrap, I don't need the markers. All I need to see is where is the gap, and then I'll be able to tell where the wrap is at the bottom. I'm going to knit to the stitch right before the wrap. Right before the wrapped stitch. So basically in this case I have 4 stitches. I'm going to knit those. And now what's going to happen is I have the marker, which makes it really simple. I'm going to lift up the wrap and put it to the left of the stitch that's on my needles, and I'm going to knit those two together through the back loop. Okay, that's where I said that's a little slightly different than you may have seen, but I find that if you do a slip stitch knitwise when you're first wrapping, and then you knit together through the back loop, it will actually make a nice clean fabric. Let's go to the next one. I'm just going to knit one. There's my wrap. I can see the wrap. I'm going to lift it up and over. And I really want it to be to the left because it's going to end up in back of the stitch, in back of the stitch that I'm going to knit it together with. Knit together through the back loop. And you can see that it ends up behind. There it is. That's the wrap. It ends up behind. I'm going to knit to the end of the row. And that is going to create a wedge that is larger on this side than it is on this side. And you'll see that on the back, we can take these markers out now. There's a little bit of a loop, very slight loop that happens from knitting the two together. But you really don't see it on the front. So that's a wrap and turn from the right side of the fabric, and that's a wrap.